for example, this weekend, my husband and a couple of our really good friends decided that we're going to Thailand next year. And I never in a million years wanted to go to Asia. I'm absolutely terrified. And my husband knows that. We've been married for 10 years and he keeps trying to get me to go to somewhere that's not France. And and I keep saying, no, I'm terrified. I won't eat or drink anything while I'm there. I'll just worry, especially if we have like a long flight where it could get very turbulent and we could all throw up. And definitely one of us is going to get traveler's diarrhea. Uh, even if I don't eat or if I pack protein bars or something, I can't have a Mai Tai because there's ice in it. Where did the water come from? And so this weekend I said, Maggie would want me to say yes, end of story. And so I did. I said yes, end of story, and they bought tickets. And I and I cried for a few hours, but I know that sounds super horribly privileged. We found really cheap tickets, and I know that most people would be like, "You're going to Thailand? That's amazing." But for me, this is a struggle, and it's going to be an opportunity, a 360 days of opportunity until the trip, of not doing anything. I'm gonna feel it. I am nervous, but I have to make sure that I just don't do anything about it. I'm going to be tempted to go to the doctor and ask for a prescription of Zofran and everything else that you can get and pack all that with me. And I'm just going to have to not
Yeah.
do that.
And is it new to now think of like those are what's maintaining the anxiety rather than those are what's helping me?
Absolutely, because if they were helping me, I would have been better a long time ago. Right? Getting Dramamine and preparing enough would have helped me a long time ago. It's definitely made me worse. I see that absolutely. So I know what I'm supposed to do, and it's going to be hard, and that's at once depressing and freeing.
Yeah. Why is it worth it? So you've got a year to prepare,
Yeah.
and this is a really great way to think about how you want to re-engage with your life, or you don't want to let your anxiety rule your life.
Yes.
And it sounds like it was new to even think like, this is actually, if I didn't have anxiety and I didn't have OCD, this is something I'd want to do. Is that how you're thinking?
Yeah, I'm thinking, if I'm on my deathbed, what will I have wished that I did? And I'm sure that it's, if not travel to Thailand, certainly go with my husband who does want to go to Thailand. That's a value that I have. Um, Travel in general is pretty sweet, and I think if it wasn't for my husband, I would probably just go to England instead, Ireland and Scotland and France again. But he wants to go climbing in Thailand. So I could stay home. I could say no. I could make him sad. I could make me sad. But at the end of my life, I think I'm gonna be glad that I went.
Mm-hmm. And so what do you have to do to prepare? That's great. I'm really happy to hear that you're living by your values here. What do you have to do to prepare? In what ways will you need to expose yourself to your OCD?
Well, it's funny you phrase it that way because I want to start preparing now. And I think one way I'm going to have to prepare to do this the right way is to not prepare. It's going to be tricky because a lot of people should probably prepare for a trip to Asia if they don't live in Asia. But I know myself, and I know my tendencies are going to want to I'm just going to want to pack a bunch of protein bars. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I already have wanted to just hop on Google and say, how do you keep yourself healthy over there, or what's safe to, Google what's safe to eat and drink in Thailand. And I already have stopped myself from doing that. So I just I feel nervous, and that's kind of like the end of the story.
So those are great response prevention. So you're not going to let yourself Google, you're not going to let yourself only pack protein bars or pack enough protein bars to like make it so that you can only eat those the whole time. And you're not going to go to the doctor more than you need to get these like prescriptions for if you feel nauseous. Those I would frame up as like response preventions. So what I know you're already doing exposure, but can you tie the exposure you're doing now and the next steps you need to take with exposure to reducing your anxiety by the time you get to this trip?
I think probably this will not happen, but maybe an example of that would be to go um, somewhere closer, like Cabo, that's only 3 hours away, and try that for 1 week before I go to Thailand for 2 weeks. But that's not going to happen. So I think I kind of get what you're saying, but I'm not really sure how to do that. And that ties into like the exposures that I'm already doing. I'm not like sure that I'm doing them right. And I'm not exactly sure what I need to add to it.
Okay, let's talk more about that. So from my perspective, you're preparing for Thailand if you're reducing your anxiety about vomiting. Not so you will have experiential avoidance, I mean experiential confidence if you go somewhere where you have the thought, what if I vomit, and you can stay there and tolerate that fear, but you don't have to go somewhere as far as Cabo to do that. Anytime you go somewhere that where you have the thought I could vomit and you tolerate the fear that you have about it, you're increasing your endurance and your capacity to cope with that uncertainty. So something like throwing away the Tums so that if you get nauseous, hanging out watching TV, and you have to tolerate that nausea, that's contributing to being prepared for Thailand. Do you see what I mean?
Yes.